So here now next thing is we will calculate risk on a particular asset. So how will you calculate risk? So whenever you listen to the word risk is associated with, always consider taking out the standard deviation. So I hope you remember the concept of standard deviation. So standard deviation says what? Whenever you deviation, the word has come from the fact that you are deviating from the mean. So hence standard deviation tells you what? How much a particular item is deviating from its mean. Mean average. Fine. So how much it is deviating from its average. So average is considered to be the expected value, and hence how much it is deviating from mean. So hence risk is calculated in the same way. We want to calculate risk, and hence we will calculate the standard deviation, or how much it is deviating from the mean, to calculate the value of risk. Fine. So here if you see, how will you calculate? So calculation of risk is very simple. It is again based on one formula. So if you remember, there is a concept of a variance, and if you take the square root of it, that will be your standard deviation. So normal, if you see variance, if you remember this, variance is calculated as sigma pi return minus expected return square. Now this is the formula. Now expected return, as you can see here, is the mean. So they are deviate. How much of the deviation is coming from the mean, and you are squaring it. Fine. And if you find out the standard deviation, that means you will have to take a square root of the same thing. So it is sigma pi r minus expected return square. Fine. So this is the formula for calculation of risk, or the variance or standard deviation. So we will try one question based on this. So in example question if I take, so there will be situations that will be given to you. So probabilities, in this case probabilities will be given to you, and the returns that are expected with that probability will be given to you. So for example, if I take 3 situations with 3 different probabilities, 0.5, 0.3 and 0.2, always make sure that the sum of the probability should always be 1, because probability cannot never exceed 1. Fine. So this will be given to you in the question itself, and return is like 16, 11 and say 6. Fine. So these 3 are the returns, and this is the probability that is associated with each of the return. Fine. This thing will be given to you in the question. Now you will be asked to calculate expected return and risk associated with that particular asset. Now how will you calculate it? First of all, we'll calculate our normal expected return, which is sigma PIR, or sigma probability into R, which is return. So that is nothing but P into R, P into R, P into R, and adding it out. PR probability will be equal to 16 into 0.3 will be 4.8, 5.5 and 1.2, and if you add it, this is 11.5, and hence your first answer is expected return, which is 11.5. Got this? Now next is the risk portion. Now we have known the risk. If you calculate, first of all, variance we will be calculating. Fine. And then we will square root it. That will be very simple. Which we have known the formula. It is probability into return minus expected return का square. Fine. Expected return you have already got, 11.5. Return is given to you here, and P is again given to you here. Problem is because there are 3 in number, not a single. If it is a single number, you could have directly put the figures in this and got their sigma square. But that is not given to you, and hence you have to calculate this. This portion needs to be calculated. Fine. And again the full portion needs to be calculated. So first of all, I'll go to the inner portion, R minus ER. So this is our R, this is our ER, and then I will just deduct R minus ER. 16 minus 11.5, 5.5. 11 minus 11.5, so it's a minus figure, minus 0.5. And lastly 6 minus 11.5, which is minus 5.5. Got this? Oh sorry, this is 4.5. 16 minus 11.5 is 4.5, minus 11.5 and minus 5.5. If you want to calculate total, you can calculate, but not required. We have to have the square of this term. So hence we will square this. Next column, R minus ER square. 4.5, we will do the square. It is 20.25. 0.5 square is 0.25. As you can see, negative sign is going off because you are squaring it. And this is 30.25. Got this? You can again calculate the total, but again not required because you have to multiply by P. So last column will be multiplication with P. P into R minus ER square. Means this figure has to be multiplied with our probabilities. So if you go with the calculation, if you go, this will be the figures. So this is 6.075. I'm just multiplying this with this. Fine. So 0.3 into 20.25 is 6.075. Again 0.5 into 0.25 is 0.125, and 0.2 into 30.25 is 6.05. And now I can make a total. So now my total will be, if I total it, it will be 12.25. This is the figure I require in the entire calculations. So I will bring it here. This is my variance. So if I have to calculate risk, that will be the under root of this variance. So under root of sigma square, which is under root of 12.25, and hence my answer will be 3.5. So if you see the full calculation, it is not very tough. First of all, we started with the expected return. This we have already done. This is very simple. P into R, P into R, P into R, P into R. Add it up, 11.5. Next, this is the entire thing that we have to calculate for risk. So first of all, we will calculate the variance and then the standard deviation. So variance is, this is the formula for variance, sigma P R minus ER. So ER, expected return, we have already calculated as 11.5. So we start with the next column. So return minus expected return, 16 minus 11.5, this 11 minus 11.5, this 6 minus this. Fine. Then square it, then multiply by P, this probability, and hence you just add it up, and finally to find out risk, just take the under root. Got this? This is how you calculate the risk in any of the scenarios. Probability and return will be given to you, rest everything you have to calculate. Got this?